Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with a new video. That's right. So what are we going to do today? Well, today we're going to look at 10 cool, stunning, hard to believe, but it's true, facts related to Kenner and Star Wars. Now, I think most of you probably don't know at least all 10 of these. If you watch my videos, you probably have heard them. Or if you're really into Star Wars collecting, Star Wars vintage, Kenner stuff, you probably know some of these. But I'm hoping at least out of these 10, at least some of them you won't know. But before we get started, as always, you'd like to support this channel, patreon.com, get some exclusive content, or YouTube member, get the same exclusive content, or go buy a shirt over at junkmanmerch.com. Get a shirt like that, and this weekend they're all on sale, so you want to make sure you check them out. Now, let's get started with the top 10 facts. Let's start with number 1. This one's about one of the Kenner Star Wars ships, the Darth Vader Star Destroyer. Is it a ship or a playset? I guess it's kind of like both. It looks like a playset, but it has the handle so you can spin it around and everything like a ship. Let's take a closer look at it and learn about the name. When Kenner planned to release a toy of the Darth Vader Star Destroyer called Executor, the ad company was worried that the name might be a little too dark to put on a kid's toy or say during the commercials. So the ad company came up with about 153 names that they could use to market the ship. Starbase Malevolent, Black Coven, Happy Exit 7, and Cosmo Curse. Yes, Cosmo Curse. The list didn't include the name that Kenner finally used for the ship, and it was probably the simplest name of them all, Darth Vader Star Destroyer. Cosmo Curse? Really? Cosmo Curse? Who's gonna fly that? Cosmo Kramer? Oh man, I killed me. Okay, let's look at number 2 of the fun Kenner Star Wars facts. Let me check my notes here. Okay, the large-scale action figures. We all know they wasn't the hit that Kenner thought they were. Or hoped they would be, I should say. They didn't sell well and they got canceled fast. Now, JCPenney's released 2 exclusive figures first, R2 and 3PO. They did hit the market in 1979, but they were first available in the JCPenney Wish Book. When it came to the 2 droids, which one do you think sold the most? Probably not too shocked here, but R2-D2 outsold C-3PO. Out of the 2 droids, JCPenney's reported that 13,400 of C-3PO were sold, but R2-D2 hit 14,000. This isn't really that shocking here. I mean, the R2's always been a fan favorite, and it just looks like you could have the R2 and not have the rest of the large-scale line, and it would look pretty cool and fun to play with. But let's talk about sales. In that first year, Kenner sold a lot of Star Wars toys, but what did they sell the most of? No shock here, the Star Wars action figures. But how many did they sell within that first year alone? Kenner reported that they sold 42,322,500 toys that first year. By all those toys, the action figures were the best seller. Kenner reported within the first year they sold 26,106,500 of the action figures. And that was just the first year. You got to think most of those figures, although released in the first year, kept being released over and over and over again until at least 1984. So just imagine how many Luke, Han, and Leia and the rest of those first 12 were sold between 1978 and 1984. It's amazing that something with that high of a production rate can be worth so much today. But what was the second best-selling thing? We know the action figures were the top seller. What was the second? The second bestseller from Kenner was the Star Wars jigsaw puzzles. According to Kenner, they sold 2,462,400 units. That's a whole bunch of puzzle pieces to be stuck to elbows. Didn't you hate that? You put a puzzle together and there's always one piece you couldn't find, and you look for it, like, I need one more piece of this puzzle. And then later you find that it's stuck on your elbow, or I guess right next to your elbow. I don't want somebody in the comments to say, technically that's not your elbow. Your elbow's here, and you're pointed to your calf muscle. Okay, no, it's not that either. Okay, let's get back talking to the toys. In 1980, Kenner was getting ready to design the AT-AT Walker toy. AT-AT, not AT, not A. Let's get back talking to the toys. In 1980, Kenner was getting ready to design the AT-AT Walker toy. AT-AT Walker, not AT-AT Walker. Anyway, they had one little problem. How did action figures or characters in the movie get into the AT-AT? Of course, you had the cockpit area that opened up where the pilots all sit. That was simple. But Kenner couldn't just release it like that. They had the big old side. They had to have figures get inside this thing. But how? They looked at production photos. They couldn't find any doors on the thing. So Kenner turned to Lucasfilm to ask them how do characters get inside the AT-AT. But even Lucasfilm had no answer for Kenner. Well, they invented their own door, the side hatch that would lower down, where you could put the figures inside for a little playset area. Now, we didn't know how to get into an AT-AT in 1980, but by 1983, we saw how characters get into the AT-AT thanks to Luke Skywalker turning himself over to Darth Vader. We got a scene in Return of the Jedi. Well, we get to see him enter the AT-AT, or at least standing outside the door of the AT-AT, and we see that right there where Kenner made that little hatch was a little door where people could get in. So maybe Lucasfilm took the nod from Kenner and put the door right in that area. Now, Kenner and Lucas teamed up to get a lot of trademarks on toys they didn't even make. Toys they didn't even have in the planning. They didn't have concept art. They didn't have anything to base the trademark on, but they wanted to get them just in case. And here's just some of the trademarks they got that never became toys, at least back in the vintage days, or never actually even got off of, and didn't even really have plans. They was trademarks for action figures of Aunt Peru and Uncle Owen. That's right, Princess Leia's aunt and uncle. A Tatooine playset environment. I don't know what that is, but it sounds pretty cool. The tractor beam toy. Again, sounds pretty cool to me. A gaffy stick toy weapon. I still today want a gaffy stick. Bantha Spies action figures. Yep, they trademarked it just in case. We didn't even see what they look like in the movie, but just in case. A dustbin robot. Well, I guess it's probably like a trash can that looks like R2-D2, I guess. That's the only thing I could think of. A giant pit of cartoon playset. Tell me you wouldn't want that. That would be awesome. Or you could just go outside and dig a little hole in the ground for your own pit, like I did as a kid. There was even a trademark for Star Wars Planet Puff. I don't even know what a Planet Puff is. I don't know if there was a planet in Star Wars called Puff. I hope not. I don't know if this was some kind of makeup kit for girls. I don't know what a Planet Puff is, but apparently Kenner and Lucasfilm did a trademark on it. If you know what a Planet Puff is, let me know in the comments below. So let's look at number 7, role-playing set. This is where you get some kind of little plastic gun or belt buckle and stuff where you could dress up like a hero from a TV show or a movie. A lot of times, if it was like a TV show, it would have the name of the TV show on it. You know, like you would pull out a fake badge and it would say TJ Hooker on it or whatever the name of the show was. So I guess that's also the name of the character, so not too far-fetched. But Kenner looked at doing 2 of these. The first one is probably the best one here is for Return of the Jedi. The Bounty Hunter, or Boba Fett, you could say, role-playing set. As you can see here, it comes with a lot of cool accessories, so you can pretend like you're a bounty hunter, or most likely Boba Fett. Another one was planned for 1980, where you could dress up like everyone's favorite droid, the medical droid. 21B. I don't know about you, but every kid I ever talked to in life wanted to be 21B. Number 8, a little odd one here. For years in the collector's market, you heard of a variation of Chewbacca action figure that was quite rare to find. Green limb Chewbacca. It was a Chewbacca with green arms. Could this really be? Is there a variant? Did Kenner or one of the sub companies make a Chewbacca figure with green arms? It can't be true, can it? The green arm Chewbacca has been found loose and on card. But was it really a variant? I'm sure you wouldn't be fooled by these photos. The arms would just fade to a darker green color over time. Being that the arms were made out of different material than the chest, a lot of times the arms would change colors. It's not a variant. It's just a fading of the color over the years. Yeah, believe it or not, people actually debated or thought this was a variant for years. But I think we all come to accept now, mostly thanks to stuff like eBay and people be able to take pictures of stuff a lot easier than just saying, here, hey, I saw a Chewbacca with green arms at a toy show. So I think now we've all come to accept that this is not a variant. Number 9, Kenner makes a promise. But does it keep it? In 1995, Kenner released the Classic Edition 4-pack. These were the original 4 Star Wars figures, well not original, made from the original molds, re-released. And boy, collectors wasn't happy. Kenner, now under Hasbro, knew going into releasing this set wouldn't make collectors too happy. A lot of collectors were worried that this was the first sign that Kenner was going to mass produce the old toys again, flooding the market with newer figures being sold as old figures, confusing any new collectors, or maybe having bad sellers trying to rip off buyers. But when Kenner released the Classic Edition 4-pack in 1995, they wanted to make it clear this was only being done to celebrate the new 1995 action figure line. Kenner only made a limited number and only sold them at Toys R Us. To even make it clear to collectors on the back of the box, Kenner wrote that this was a strictly limited release. No worries, right? Strictly limited. Okay, maybe for that 4 set, but as you can see, we have the retro line out now, but I guess those are strictly limited also because you couldn't find them at the store most of the time unless it was that Tarkin board game. That was all over the place. But did you walk into a store and see a Boba Fett on a shelf? Or on a hanging peg, I should say. Number 10, let's look at the final one from the Kenner Star Wars Facts. Now this one we're going to go back to 1984 for Toy Fair. And Kenner had a lot of Star Wars toys on display by 1984. And they were all standing up on... Here, I'll show you. As you can see, they're all standing up, being shown off. Except for one figure. The new free figure of 1984 sat there on a throne. This chair display was made out of balsa wood and styrofoam. For years, some collectors wondered if this was something Kenner did plan to release. Maybe it was part of a playset. Or some kind of deluxe figure. However, the chair was made just for Toy Fair, drawing attention to the new Emperor figure being released. As for the chair today, it's safe and it's in the hands of a private collector. That's it. 10 stunning facts. What about the Emperor chair? Would you like to have that to sit your finger in? One thing, when it came to Star Wars, when you just sat them down, their legs went straight out like this. I know, they didn't have knee joints, but that's okay. I don't need to have joints with my action figures. Anyway, let me know. There's some facts maybe I should know, you want to tell me about, or did you not know about some of these? Let me know all that and more in the comments below. And as always, thumb up this video so that you like my content. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk again soon.
Junkman.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.